I became a gambling addict because of video games. I spent $16,000 in the space of 1 year and almost made my family homeless. I started playing Final Fantasy Brave Exvius shortly after launch in July of 2016. It was a fresh take on an old classic, my favorite series of all time, Final Fantasy. When I was 11 in 1988, I went to the Nintendo CES in New York City. Nintendo had demo booths for all the upcoming games, and the original Final Fantasy was one of them. It was the coolest game I had ever seen. I got it when it was released and it remained my favorite series of games for years. Final Fantasy 2 and 3 on SNES, I bought a PlayStation so I could get Final Fantasy 7. I got a PS3, but all I wanted to play was Final Fantasy 12. But over time came a married life, kids, jobs, responsibilities, and I could no longer spend time on a console. I didn't have time to sit and play and grind out levels and complete the extra quests like defecting Ruby Weapon. Then Final Fantasy Brave Exvius was released. A short format game that I could play for 5 or 10 minutes and put it away. It didn't require a console or a TV, just a few minutes to play a couple of dungeon runs or a quick exploration, then I could put it away for later. It was perfect. Expedition into the Abyss was the first banner I spent money on and my first delve into addiction regarding this game. I had been playing the game for 6 weeks or so and I went into the exploration blind and got wiped out. I leveled my team, I maxed my stats and I just could not win. I got to Ansel finally and beat him, but I was so low on energy. I used lapis refills just to limp past him. Then I got to the exit with the 3 bosses that kicked my butt with their 10,000 V attack. I was frustrated beyond belief. I had spent all my resources to pass this exploration, and I couldn't leave it like this. I broke my F2P resolve and put down $20. That should be enough to get me out of this dungeon and replace some of the lapis I spent so I could at least do the dailies again. I was adamant that I would not spend again. Then the first Mog King event I recall was Festival of the Autumn Moon, baking Mog cakes. I spent hours, day after day, grinding the coast for recipe ingredients. I kept my 2 ovens going, then I increased my capacity to 4 and I stayed true to my resolve. I did not spend any more money. I made it through, I got the Stellar Shield, I got the Lunar Pestle and the Rabbit's Foot. I accomplished my goals without macros, without more resources. My family though kept asking me, what am I tapping on my phone all the time? Why am I always looking at my screen? I put the phone away and tried to limit myself, only a little while in the morning before I got everyone up for school. I would play for a little while at lunchtime when I wasn't around anyone. I would play on the toilet since I had nothing better to do while I poop. I would play after putting the kids to sleep. I was not taking anything from anyone. I was just playing a game. I made it to November, then came the Crystal Tower. The release of Luneth and Rifia. The best DPS and the best healer available at the time. I had saved my lapis, I could do a 10+1 pull, I had maybe 20 or so tickets saved. I used all my resources and was trolled by a rainbow edge. I was enraged, incensed, and insistent that I get Luneth. I put in my card number into my digital wallet and upped myself $99 of lapis. Then I pulled and pulled and pulled, and I got nothing. So I put in another $99 and pulled and I got Luneth. I could advance and defeat all new content and share the best DPS possible to all my friends. It was only $200. I can spare that. I haven't bought a video game in 6 years. I deserve it, I earned it. I didn't pull for the Brave Frontier crossover event. I saved my resources. I was depressed by all the L's I saw my friends sharing, but I was not lucky enough to pull her. I conceded that it was okay, and I could get her again in the future. I still beat the trial of the creator and got Maxwell. I had to work hard, but I got the power of creation TMR. That made my Luneth a king again. Then came the big bridge. Gilgamesh. The best TMR you could get. I still have a 10+1 pull left after my Luneth. I had saved the tickets from the Mog King. I pulled for Greg and failed again. It was only $200 to get Luneth. How bad would that be for the best accessory in the game? I can make my Chizuru or my Cecil so strong. I put in my money again, $99, no Greg, $99, no Greg, $99, no Greg. I took a break for a little bit. My family had plans for the day. I was angry now. How could I have spent $300 and not gotten what I wanted? When nobody was looking, around everyone, I did it again. $99, no Greg, $99, no Greg, $99, no Greg, $99. Finally. I had Gilgamesh. I had maxed out all of my unit inventory. I had to spend time to fuse units. I got my first Excalibur that day as well as some other great TMRs. But I finally had the Genji glove and I could now make Chizuru strong enough to share with others. She could DPS at 350 attack and more. I could beat all the content with ease using her and Luneth. Yeah, I spent $700, but I would stop now. I had enough. I didn't want to be caught spending money I shouldn't on a video game. It was enough. Lightning strikes, and I didn't spend anything. I was in control. I didn't need anything new. I was still in the game and doing great. So many events passed and I was still unaliving everything in sight with my team. I cleared all of the events and new story content. It was fun, I was not an addict, I spent time with my family, I didn't take their time away. I was on top. Noctis, Prince of all trades came along. I got greedy. I pulled again. Another $300. I got off easy there. I was again in the lead. I was on top. I had the best attacker, best support, best all around at everything. I didn't need anything else. The Mana Mystery event came. I was excited. Randy, The Secret of Mana. The Secret of Mana was hands down one of the best games to ever come out for the SNES. Open world, exciting characters, fantastic story and fighting. The nostalgia was incredible for this event. I had to have Randy. I had paid down most of the bill from getting Gilgamesh. I could afford it to have a piece of my childhood back, no matter what the cost. It cost me about $400. I was back to square one with paying my bill back. I had spent nearly $1,700 on this game now, I couldn't spend any more. It was getting out of control. I unlinked the credit card and got back to my senses. I could keep playing my game. I put my maxed out Randy as my friend unit. I was determined to get the most out of him, no matter what. It was my hard-earned money, I should not spend it frivolously. I made it almost 4 months.